In this video, we will quickly talk about different comments you can use in Java. So comments are statements that are not executed by the compiler and the interpreter. Comments can be used to provide information or explanation about a variable, a method, a class, or any statement. It can also be used to hide program code for a specific time. So let's just have a look at the different types of comments that you will get in Java. So in the previous example, we had something like first number and we had second number, and then we said let's assign values to them. So I'm going to do it here, let's say 11, and that one should be 12, and then we can work out the average. So we're going to say average equals the first number plus the second number, and I'm going to divide that by 2.0. So now if you want to give some more explanation to the user or somebody that's reading your code, we can say this is the average between the first and the second number. And if you ask the user to enter the numbers, you can maybe say between the first and the second number entered. So a comment is basically not read by the interpreter or by the compiler of the program, of the Java compiler. So this line of coding will be ignored when you run your program, but it is for you or for somebody else reading your code to understand what you did in this specific part. So now this is we call a single line comment. So I can add another single line comment there and type stuff there again and carry on. I can even do it at the end there. So basically after 2 forward slashes, I've got one single line comment. And that single line comment will not be read by the compiler at all. So you can give yourself some indication of what you were working with. So normally what people do is also after declaring some variables, and if the variable is not descriptive of what it does, you can give some sort of description there just after that 2 forward slashes. So the second number, you can say this is the second number entered. So now if it goes to a second line, let's say your comment is too big, then you can also use a multi-line comment. So a multi-line comment will basically be a forward slash with a star, and then you just press enter there, and it ends off with a star and a forward slash, and anything in between will be seen as comments. So hello world, how are you, whatever. You can see there, that's a multi-line comment. So instead of saying this is the second number entered, this is the first number entered, just some text that I'm typing there, instead of having 2 lines with 2 forward slashes like that, you can have them as 1 forward slash and a star, ending it off with a star and a forward slash, and anything in between those two will give you your comment, and your compiler won't read that as code, but it will take it as a comment. Okay, so that's a multi-line comment. This one is just a normal single line comment. Then there's another comment that we can use, and that we normally use with methods. So this is basically the documentation comment. So for a documentation comment, you put a forward slash and 2 stars, and you can just click on the enter. So you'll see what it does then. It creates a star and a forward slash, and anything in between, we can actually remove those 2 stars there, but everything in between them will be seen as a documentation comment. So I'm just going to do that again. If I remove that, just before my method there, I'm going to put a forward slash, 2 stars, and then you can see it picks up, there's a parameter called args, and I can declare what, or I can try and explain what this argument or what that specific variable is. This is just a variable, or whatever your explanation for that specific method. So we'll get to documentation comments again when we do methods and classes and so forth. And then also here we can just explain this is the main method of the class, or whatever you want to explain. So you're just basically giving a bit more information about this method or this main method or whatever type of method you have to explain a bit more. And that's the idea behind comments, to explain what your coding is basically saying. And now the other nice thing about documentation comments is that you can go to your tools menu and you can say generate Java doc. Now, your output directory, I'm just going to leave it as the desktop, but make sure you choose one there. And I'm just going to say, just create Java documentation for the comments.java file. And I'm going to say, okay. And it will automatically open up a web page for me. And wherever you said it should save it, it will also be saved there. But it opens up an index.html file. And you can see there's my class called comments. So if I look at my class, the class is called comments. So you can see there comments. I can go into the class, and into that class I will then see all my constructors and my methods and so forth. So you can see I've got a main method, and there's the comment that I added. This is the main method of the class. It's exactly what I said there. This is the main method of the class. Okay, and then if you go down a bit, you can also see there's the whole description of the main class or the main method. Then this is the main method of the class, and then there's that args explanation that I gave. This is just a variable. So you can see there where I typed this is just a variable. So it gives a nice overview of your whole class and how your methods fit together. So this basically is what we use comments for and how we can use the comments in Java. So it's basically a single line comment or a multi-line comment, or then this comment that's used for the Java documentation called the documentation comment.